we won't be seeing a demo of the POC. We're talking more a little bit about what we did to prepare, the challenges, and what we uncovered during this POC activity that we did. And as you can see, it's a multi-vendor exercise because, of course, we needed to get things out of the order into an accounting solution. We've split this into a couple of different topics. And first of all, let's just talk about the value of order-based accounting. And airlines are exploring the order-based accounting not just as a finance exercise, but really as a way to transform how the revenue is managed across the business. So, Yoshi, just from your perspective, what is the real value of moving towards full order-based accounting for airlines?
Hello. There is several benefit would be outcome, but the most significant value is the faster revenue recognition. The transformation to the order accounting means our necessary information is able to get in real time from OMS. It is very high expectation to improve quick availability and the accuracy of our financial report. It is the most important items.
And Yoshi, that's obviously not just the sale itself, but the update of the status of what's going on with that actual sale as well, isn't it? Yeah. Pascal, what kind of long-standing challenges in the airline finance world does the order-based accounting aim to really solve, more from a, let's say, system and operational perspective?
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. So first of all, the obvious, we want to be order ready. So we want to be part of the value chain, enabling order-based offering to the customers. But aside of that, I mean, the order-based accounting is much less complex than the traditional revenue accounting. So we have seen that the processes were so lean that we were able to really reduce the cost on our side, reduce the prices for our customers, and leave the complexity out of it. And this is just not limited to the system itself, but also to the handling of the system, where we do much more automation out of the box, and the customers don't need large teams to handle accounting as itself. And maybe last one, I mean, I want to attach to what Yoshi just said. The real-time revenue recognition is something we are really looking forward, and I would like to see in the next couple of years live dashboards of accounting data where we can see the revenue really generated throughout flights.
Making accounting really sexy.
Try to.
Yoshi, beyond the finance, what benefits does the order-based accounting bring to the commercial teams, such as the marketing and the revenue management and other parts of the organization?
Yeah. Yes, the enhancement is not only on the financial side, but also greatly contributes to utilization of the marketing, the distribution, of course, the revenue management, to make up the financial performance. It is the ability to provide the actual revenue performance in real time from order accounting system.
Yeah. And kind of with that frame, let's talk about the industry maturity for a moment. I mean, order-based accounting, it's more than just an ambition, right? And it needs systems, it needs standards, it needs processes, process changes from where we are today, and it also needs vendor readiness. And where do we think the industry is today, Pascal, in defining these standards and processes that it's actually usable in a live context?
I mean, obviously with the POC we have conducted with ANA and the POCs that are coming up, we have reliably proven that at least our solution is at a maturity level where you can use it in an environment that is as close to a live and production environment as it could be. So I cannot speak for all of the vendors, obviously, but from our perspective, we are ready. And I think one of the key aspects that need to improve on that side is also priority on airline side. We have seen that with ANA, they put a lot of priority on these items, and I believe this is the right way to go. We have also seen other airlines that have put less priority on it, and I believe there is a point to improve, because if accounting gets part of the priority items, then it will become an asset throughout the value chain.
Yeah, and I agree on that prioritization or your view, because we do work with a lot of airlines, and there's very few that actually put the order-based accounting towards the front of the prioritization to make sure that it still works in the end of the process. And so it is a very interesting part to look at. Where, and I know you can't speak for all the vendors, but in general, Pascal, where do the vendors currently stand in terms of product readiness for a large-scale adoption?
One of the key aspects that we are missing for large-scale adoption is the interline standards. That is a key point where we are trying to push a lot for standards, so that indeed we can not only enable single airlines to make use of order-based accounting benefits, but also enable airline groups, airlines across each other to use it in a large scale. But I want to add something here, because we believe strongly that the system that we have introduced is already at the state where we can scale up a lot. And I really hope that, and I can't disclose exactly whom I mean, but in the next year we are able to demonstrate at a large scale with a large tier 1 carrier that consumption and use the process to an extent where it comes more or less to the productive data of a full airline is possible. And I really hope to be able to next year speak about this year.
Very good. And Yoshi, from an airline perspective, what gaps do you feel still remain in the standards and also in the vendor readiness? And what do you think the timelines are or should be for closing those?
Yes, I think there are no huge gap at the moment, because the system is developed based on the industry standards. The finalization industry standards is almost completed. I think it means the system development is also on the final stage. However, we are always facing the irregularity, such as the flight cancel or no-show passenger or something. So we should identify this the irregularity use case and build up the solution. I think this point is already discussed on several occasions, and I believe that this will be finalized in the very near future, yeah. I think.
Connor, I'm going to pull you in now into this conversation as well. I hadn't forgotten you, but moving from this kind of the business and the revenue accounting system specifically, you're providing the order system to ANA. Are there critical industry issues, technical gaps, regulatory gaps that you need to somehow cover in the interfacing between the two systems so that this can be pulled through fully end to end?
We haven't had massive problems in that area, you know, so for us it's really a case of we have all the order information, we have all the pricing information, the messaging is there, it exists, the standard exists, and we pass that off to Lufthansa Systems. We have had some issues around sort of the third-party ancillaries, etc., and how we're looking at the settlement of that and how we communicate the settlement values. It kind of ties into what Pascal was saying earlier about the interline and the settlement with orders, and how, you know, that has been sort of had to have been addressed sort of by Lufthansa Systems themselves, rather than at an industry level at this point in time. So there's gaps around that, but we haven't had a lot of problems. And as I said, it was addressed sort of through creative interpretation of the existing standards, as well as, you know, the work that was done by the team in Lufthansa Systems.
Yeah. So moving somewhat from that introduction of what the state is right now of the industry, let's talk about the POC itself. But the POC that was conducted between these three entities was basically to be able to take ancillaries sold that didn't require EMDs, create an order in the order management system, and have those accounted, again, with no interaction basically with the legacy PSS because we don't have EMDs for them. Just to frame the scope of what was done. And in the context of that journey, there was different steps and proof points that we're looking to take out of this. So business process, technical things, the interfaces. So Pascal, maybe can you share what's been achieved so far with this initial POC work on order-based accounting?
Yeah, gladly. So I think one of the major achievements that we have proven and seen, aside of the thing that it works in general, is the fact that it worked in a short time. So we have had just 6 months to fully integrate and build up the system to function in its full potential. We have always had the ambition, and that is still true, to build it as close to reality as it could be. So we could say we have built in 6 months, just 6 months, a working system that is capable of handling exactly the stream. And I need to say I'm pretty proud because that is an incredible speed from my side.
Connor, from your side, from the order side to the accounting, what were the achievements that you guys could achieve through this POC?
So we already had the integrations in place, actually. We've been working with Lufthansa Systems for quite a while at this point. So a lot of that was already sort of at least in the POC stage already. But what we learned really is that, in particular, we're looking at the third-party ancillary products where we have already removed those dependencies on the PSS, i.e. there were no dependencies to begin with, let's say. Sort of how quickly, as Pascal was saying, we were able to bring these products in and have a full slice from offer, order, right through to settlement and delivery very quickly and a lot more simple than having to go through the hoops that we might do with the usual interactions with the PSS.
Yeah. And taking that from a business perspective, Yoshi, we did set some goals of what we want to achieve, what we want to learn. What lessons have you learned, or has ANA learned from this order-based accounting with the third-party ancillary challenge that we had in there?
When the initial stage, it is difficult to define the user requirement with the third-party provider because they are in the same world, but they are not an airline. It is the first experience for us to build up the settlement method with the non-air providers. But when we define our user requirement and necessary information put onto the order message, accounting data is immediately generated smoothly and quickly when the order message was synchronized. It is a big lesson for us.
Pascal, from the LSY perspective, and I know Connor mentioned you already had some pre-integrations, but through this POC, are there things that LSY also learned to say, oh, this has to be part of a future product, this is how things have to change going forward?
Sure. I mean, we have already worked on this product for a long while and have assumed a lot of things that we need and that airlines need to conduct order accounting. A lot of these processes, a lot of the technologies that we have used and built in terms of functionalities, they have been proven as correct assumptions. So I would say the first lesson is my team did a pretty good job at this. But secondly, obviously, there is also gaps that we need to fulfill in the future. And one thing, we have built up what we would call a workaround so far when it comes to third-party settlement, which we call the bilateral settlement manager, which is a crucial part for this POC. And there we see, okay, we need the airline's support in getting these standards into IATA standards, because we can do something here, but as long as it's not industry adoption, it will be difficult for our airline customers to accept that there is multiple different ways of handling this throughout the industry. So there we are pushing hard in the IATA working groups to get this to become a standard. And we see that in generally the system, how we implemented it, works. And this is a very, very good news from our side.
I think that's one of the values of these POCs. It's not only for value for OpenJAW and for LSY and for ANA in this case, but it's also going back into the industry to say, oh, this is a gap in a standard. How can we fix this? Connor, the same question to you as OpenJAW, as the order provider. What have you learned out of the POC or gaps that you've identified going through this exercise?
I don't know that we've identified a huge amount of gaps when going through it. It's more a case of, it would be a lot easier if it was, if we had implemented delivery integrations, and we weren't necessarily relying on tickets and EMD still for the existing air and air ancillary products, So at the moment, we're kind of having workarounds in order to handle that, and sort of we're not getting a delivery update. So how are we going to solve that problem for, recording usage, et cetera, and sending those messages on to those kinds of systems? So I think it's more of a gap in that we're kind of dealing with a partial implementation where there are still pieces where delivery doesn't interact with us, et cetera. And so how are we going to get over that problem? And how are we going to, while we're waiting for some of the other integrations with other systems to come into play, how are we going to, feed the right data so that Yoshi can go to his, screen and see that real-time revenue?
Yeah. In terms of the collaboration between three parties in this POC, Yoshi, for you as, let's say, the customer in a sense, how did you experience working in this multi-party environment in something that's actually quite new for everybody, but we still had pressures of deadlines to try to get it done in a certain time?
Yeah. Yes, but we learned if we making the new processing with any other industry or something, but we first build up and identified our user requirement and pass to the system vendor, such as the Lufthansa Systems and OpenJAW, and we were making the solution together, the user and system vendor, and for how to handle the business requirement into the order message. It is a very good way, I think.
Yeah. I want to use the last few minutes maybe just to give a bit of an outlook, because there's further things planned building up on this in terms of POCs. And some of them we already kind of addressed, one of them being, for example, interline. So there's an idea and a hope that we can do an interline POC at one stage. Pascal, you mentioned that's kind of maybe something that's missing for full-scale adoption. What would your hope be to get out of an interline POC if we got that far?
Well, I'm sure we will be getting that far. So I'm looking forward to that exercise because, we again see that there is a gap in certain standards that we are still missing from the working groups. And we were and are always active in defining those standards. And I really believe that, first of all, proving that interlining works also on an accounting side, and that's the most, from my perspective, even the most important part when it comes to interlining and the settlement between the partners. That is an achievement where we can prove to the industry that from a technical point of view, the maturity is there. And secondly, also, where, like I said, with the existing takeaways, we want to not only see and prove that it works, but also take away the learnings, what we need in terms of standards, and bring them into the IATA working groups to define together with the leading airlines, including ANA, how this will look in the future.
And Yoshi, for you, the interline POC will probably also have quite a few interesting learnings. What are the key 2 or 3 learnings you want to pull out of that one?
Yes, honestly, we don't have the permanent solution for the interline at this moment, but we probably will pick up our current settlement procedures and find out the key information and put into the order message and discuss with our interline partner how we should handle the interline important message and agree to each other. It is very interesting, and we are looking forward to.
Connor, another of the POCs that are being considered is dynamic price adjustments of these third-party ancillaries. That is obviously starting in the offer side, so when the OpenJAWS system creates that offer, dynamically adjusting it and then passing it on. Where do you see the challenges from a offer price creation to accounting on your end?
I mean, on our end, it's really, as I said before, we're just sending that information to Pascal to do the hard work. So to a degree, once the calculation has been done correctly on our side and the taxes have been applied correctly, the challenge may be in how that information is reflected and sent to Sirex's One Order in a way that meets the needs of ANA, for example, or any other airline, so that they have a record of where the price was, where the price has moved to, and even why the price has moved, perhaps. That's the sort of information I expect they're going to want to see at some point in time. And so that's maybe something I personally haven't really looked at the messaging itself, whether it can convey this. I've had a conversation with some of the Lufthansa Systems guys around it, so it's something we're looking at exploring now.
Yeah. And Pascal, do you see challenges with these potentially frequent price changes of the same product when it gets to an accounting perspective?
So I have been asked this question a couple of times, and first time I was saying there is no difficulty at all. I checked with my team. They said, well, don't be so sure about this. But technically said, we have built our system at least, and I again cannot speak for all the other vendors, but for our system I can tell we have built it in a way that from a sheer technical point of view, we don't really care if the price is generated dynamically or if it's not. And the key aspect to that is that all the information must be present at the offer creation stage already, so it's passed through the order management system and arrived at us in the right form. And this is a key point on reducing complexity for the future in an accounting environment, so that we just need to consume that and reflect this correctly and do the posting correctly. And from that point, the easy answer would be we don't even expect too much challenges to that. Of course, what you're saying is correct. The challenges arise as soon as you want to do something with the data, as soon as you want to use it in the revenue recognition process in more than just displaying what you have just earned. Then it gets a little bit more complex, and we need to consider how this is possible. But from a processing point of view, we don't see much challenges, at least in our system.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I see our timer just now went to 0, so we timed that perfectly. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and I'm sure if you have more questions, the folks will be around afterwards to ask them. We didn't get quite through everything that we wanted to, but I think we did a good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.